Good afternoon. It's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world here on this Wednesday. Of course, we'll do Market Watch, stocks we're paying attention to, local national stories you need to know, and Walmart making a huge purchase out there in the West Valley over the Thanksgiving holiday. We'll talk about that. But also, we got your shipping dates in order to get your presents to where they need to go before, of course, the December 25th Christmas holiday coming up as well. That story will just be here in just a few minutes. But first, let's get right into it with that Market Watch. Weak jobs data is out there today. It's not a shocker, right? We've seen weak job numbers out there recently as well. Some of the big stocks like Microsoft is in a decline right now. Well, the market doesn't care. It's rebounded pretty well here today. Dow Jones is up 359 points right now to 47,847. The S&P 500 is up 22 points to 6853. The Nasdaq's up 40 points as we talk here, 23,455, and then the Russell 2K. It's up 35 points to 2505 for that small cap index as well. Bitcoin, look, it's back into that 90,000 range and just kind of hovering there here these last couple days. 1,800 points up technically today, but trading at 93,116 for Bitcoin as of right now for it. That's a big increase over that 80,000 number that was looking at before for a Bitcoin. Is cryptocurrencies kind of, I'm going to say a buyback. It's obviously not at the levels they were before. Even Ether continues to be below their record levels, but kind of some comeback here, at least, as we talk about these cryptocurrencies as of now. So, if you missed the story earlier, no graphs or pictures on this at all before we get into the stocks. One of the things that was kind of interesting here is the market is up today, right? But ADP reported that their private payrolls, they declined by 32,000 people in November. That was a surprise number for everyone out there. Analysts were expecting an increase of 40,000. Almost completely backwards here for this ADP number as well. So traders, well, they're betting on private job losses will lead the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates, which is why they're kind of ignoring the ADP number on the stock market. It's terrible to say, right? Sounds terrible, but the decline of 32,000 instead of that increase of 40,000 means the Fed might cut rates here coming up in their December meeting as well. So that meeting is next week, for the Fed. That's why the market's kind of ignoring these weak job numbers that came out earlier today from the private sector there with ADP as of now. So stocks we're paying attention to, well, let's look at Netflix really quick here. They put in that bid for Warner Brothers Discovery the other day, and investors are waiting to see how much Netflix is bidding officially. We did find out yesterday it was an all-cash offer, but we don't know the amount and what specific categories of Warner Brothers Discovery. We've heard rumors through the sources that know, right, that Netflix is bidding for specific entities of Warner Brothers Discovery. So we know it was mostly cash offer that they offered. We don't know any other details. Netflix is down today 5.13% because investors are just waiting to get the details on the binding offer there with Warner Brothers Discovery. We talked about that yesterday. Other companies obviously in on the bid as well. I told you during that market watch, Microsoft down today. Well, let's take a look at Microsoft stock as well. Down 1.51% here today. That's a big drop here for Microsoft. Any of these big tech companies drop around 2%, 1.5%, 2%, people pay attention to it out there as well. Well, Microsoft had to come out. They denied a report from the newspaper called The Information. The Information came out and said that Microsoft lowered its AI product sales targets. Well, they denied it, Microsoft did, but investors paid attention to that information reporting. That's why Microsoft's down the 1.49% here today. And now let's look at the local company that does well here with the AI trade and microchips and everything. Well, let's talk about microchip technology, based down there in Chandler. Well, they're a semiconductor company, if you don't know what they do. 9.01% up here for the local company. They raised their guidance for the third quarter. They now expect adjusted earnings of 40 cents per share. Before they said 34 to 40 cents per share. So they raised their guidance to that top level side and took away that minimum side as well. They even projected revenue at the high end of its previously guided range. So they said the revenue was going to be closer to the $1.149 billion that they had for that range on the revenue side. Well, anytime you do your guidance to a positive side, generally your stock goes up on that day. Microchip Technologies, local company out there in that microchip world for AI stuff, 8.96% up for Microchip Technologies here today. Later on, when we come back, we're going to look at a data storage company called Pure Storage. We're going to look at American Eagle Outfitters. Excuse me, if I could say it properly. And we're going to look at that's a retailer we're going to watch here. Obviously, we're in the holiday season and kind of what they say as well. And then Thor Industries. What's that RV side like? We did that story a couple weeks ago. More people are planning, especially during the summertime, during the 250th anniversary here of America coming up. A lot of people are expecting to RV around the country here in that time. So we'll take a look at Thor Industries, who's an RV manufacturer out there. But first, let's get into some stories. Right, Federal Reserve meets next week. Right now, people are saying no rate cut that the Fed's going to do. It's built into the markets already. Well, the ADP report might affect that a little bit, but more importantly, the Federal Reserve, well, they might have turned that corner that they've been working on for that 3 year long string of unprecedented, and for the Fed, this is very unprecedented loss making, as what they call it there. Basically, it's tied to how it has implemented monetary policy after COVID-19, and the Fed is losing money that anytime they make the money, it goes back into the treasury, and they've been losing it here the last 3 years with their monetary policies. So it's not a big change, but data is going in the right direction, right? Data from the central bank, it shows that since the start of November, the Fed has actually started to make enough money again to slowly start covering an accounting mechanism that it uses to capture its losses. So it's a convoluted thing that they do, but it means market and the money and the Fed are moving in the right direction here. Since November 5th, for instance, the size of the Fed's so-called deferred asset, well, it's actually gotten smaller. Now, it's not a big movement. 243.8 billion is where it's at. 243.2 billion is where it's at now, right? On November 26th is the last time we got that reading. Small change, but it's a clear shift in the long-term trend that the Fed has been dealing with. Fed watchers, for their part, they don't know how long it will take for the Fed to cover its deferred asset. And then once they do that, they will return cash to the Treasury at that point. But Fed watchers expect this to be a multi-year process to get back to the level that they were at before the COVID-19 side as well. So if you're kind of wondering what the Fed's deferred asset is, well, it tallies up losses, and then it must be covered before the Fed can actually again return its profits to the Treasury. As I said, Treasury makes a profit. I'm sorry, the Fed makes a profit. It goes into the Treasury, and obviously those people. And they haven't done that in a few years as well. By the way, this is a requirement by law to turn that money into Treasury. The Fed funds its operations through income that it earns from bond holdings and from services that it does provide to the financial sector. So that's where you get the profits that go to the Treasury if they make them. But they've been losing money the last 3 years. Trend is going in the right direction for the first time in 3 years. That's why that's kind of an important story out there. And you know, graduations are coming up. Some people are graduating here from high school in December. Some, of course, most of people in May coming up as well. Interesting study here that comes out from an NBC News poll. You know, we've kind of heard the drumbeat of this for a few years, and the question was why? Well, it's the cost of it, right? But now almost 2/3 of registered voters, they say that a 4 year degree isn't worth the cost that it takes to get it. Again, this is an NBC's news poll that came out as well, and it's been a large large retreat on the thought of 4 year colleges over the past 12 years or so. So, according to this study, 33% agreed that a 4 year college degree is worth the cost because people have a better chance to get a good job and earn more money over their lifetime with that degree. That is still true, by the way. But 63% agree more with the concept that it's not worth the cost because people often graduate without specific job skills, but then you have that large amount of debt that you have to pay off once you graduate as well. So tides are shifting here, right? Back in 2017, U.S. adults surveyed were virtually split on that same question. 49% said the degree was worth it, 47% said it wasn't. So, literally, 2017 till today, big shift difference. 66% say it's not worth it now. When CNBC went out and asked the same question in 2013, yeah, even different results there. 53% said a degree was worth it, 40% said it was not. Yeah, how bad these numbers have been shifting over the past 12 years or so as well, if my math's correct on those years there. So there's a lot of issues here, a lot of trends shaping this belief. Obviously, questions around the job market. Coming out of college, do you have jobs? Do you have the abilities to get a job, et cetera, right? There's a lot of questions around the education world. Some on the right say you're just going to a liberal bastion of thought think tank there to go to college and stuff like that. And then another huge factor, it's got to be, right? The college tuition prices. Huge increases over the last 12 years as well, especially in this economy, which will give you obviously more debt when you come out of colleges. But then you've got another thing kind of coming into this thought process, right? Advances in artificial intelligence. Go to college and then just have your job eliminated because the computer does it better out there. So that's creeping into these thoughts. College Board data, if you want to look at that, it shows the average inflation adjusted cost of public 4 year college tuition. This is for in state students. That alone has doubled since 1995. Doubled. Obviously means more debt coming out of college. But if you want to look at a private 4 year college, it's up 75% over that same period since 1995. College is becoming a debt ridden place in a lot of people's views, and it's hard to argue it, right, with these numbers we're talking about as well. So, if you want to talk about this NBC's news poll specifically, people that did talk to NBC News after doing this poll, they emphasized that the rising costs were a major reason why the value of a 4 year degree isn't there anymore. So forget about the AI, forget about the people thinking you're going to a liberal bastion of thoughts and forced onto those thoughts. It's the rising cost of tuition and the debt you incur going to college, pushing people away at that point. So, for those of you out there, that have kids thinking about college applying like I do, something to think about, right? Going into that side. Of course, a lot of people say, just go to the trade side, right? We need trade workers. Trade workers make a lot of money. Now, it's not steady work in terms of that. You'll go to one job, work there for a few months. You might have a few weeks off and then go back. But trade work, they make good money out there, folks. Now, let's talk a little bit about, right, the company that has a huge valuation. And speaking of AI and affecting stuff, let's talk about OpenAI here, right? Sam Altman is the CEO, and he has now said that OpenAI has more work to do on enhancing the day-to-day experience of its chatbots out there, which, of course, is ChatGPT. So he says they need to improve on things like allowing it to answer a wider range of questions and even improving its speed, reliability, and personalization features for the users out there. This is a story from the Wall Street Journal, and it was a letter that Sam Altman sent to everybody out there. I'll tell you this, in my experience, I've stopped using ChatGPT. It doesn't give me the answers and the searches that I'm looking for a lot of times. And some of the other chatbots do things like graphics and pictures and stuff like that effect. So to use that, whereas ChatGPT still struggles with that out there. So it looks like Sam Altman's at least acknowledging they need to do that as well. This was a company-wide memo that he sent out as well, and obviously it comes as competitions have narrowed OpenAI's lead in the AI race. OpenAI and ChatGPT was the best one and the one out in front of everybody. That's changing now, right? Remember last month, Google, they released their newest version of Gemini model. That is officially, in terms of people that study these things, Gemini model has surpassed OpenAI on industry benchmark tests officially now. So also, Wall Street Journal cited Google saying that Gemini's monthly active users have climbed 450 million people in July to 650 million in October. 200 million people in what, a matter of 2 months there, right? So now part of that reason is Gemini did release an image generator, as I said, whereas OpenAI does not have that. OpenAI is facing also pressure from other AI companies, ones like Anthropic. Anthropic's that San Francisco company there. They have the Claude family of chatbots. If you've seen those around, they're coming fast with their innovations, et cetera, into that AI world to put pressure on OpenAI and ChatGPT as well. OpenAI, for its case, they reportedly had a user base of more than 800 million weekly users as of October as well. So pressure's coming on OpenAI out there, and they're noticing their competition's better than them right now as well. Sam Altman did say in that letter as well that the company would have a daily call among those responsible for enhancing ChatGPT, micromanaging people as well. The interesting thing about OpenAI and ChatGPT is this: Google, for instance, they can fund their AI through revenues that they get. OpenAI isn't profitable. It has to actually raise funding in order to survive and continue to grow and spend money. And their competitors don't. Microsoft, Apple, Google, they can fund stuff through their revenues, and basically they have, right, unlimited money. They don't have to worry about fundraising side. OpenAI is kind of at a disadvantage here. It'll be interesting to see where this continues to go in that AI world going forward, because everybody's using it, right? We had that story on Christmas shopping and everybody using that AI stuff out there as well. And one thing you can use AI for, or you can watch this show and we'll tell you this stuff as well, right? If you need to send a gift to someone this holiday season, either by the U.S. Postal Service, UPS, or FedEx, well, obviously you have dates you need to adhere to in order to guarantee it there by those dates. And these dates to me seem a little late. Do it beforehand, right? But depends where it goes on that side, right? USPS, for its case, they said in October, if you remember, they're ready to handle the expedited increase in mail and package volume during the holidays. They actually hired 14,000 seasonal employees to help the Postal Service handle all the holiday volume that's coming up here for them. So here are the dates that the Postal Service recommends mailing and shipping by in order to get it there as well. Now, obviously, the date they use is the December 25th deal. Now, these dates do not include Hawaii or Alaska. Those are additional time frames, obviously, to get those over there. So basically, if you want to do ground service at all, that's that 2 to 5 shipping days. You want to ship that no later than December 17th. Like I said, you're putting your will into it as well. If you do even December 17th, first class mails December 17th as well. If you want to do priority mail, December 18th. Priority Mail Express would be December 20th as well for that time frame there. So, those are your approximate dates, drop dead dates to get your presents out there as well. And like I said, basically Hawaii and Alaska, I'll just tell you that it's about a day. It's a day or two before the dates we just gave you to get it to those places coming up as well. If you want to look at that, FedEx, for instance, FedEx home delivery, 5 day shipping. Well, obviously December 17th, if you do the math there to get it in that time frame. Then obviously the shorter shipping window you have means you can get closer. For instance, 2 day shipping, December 22nd would be what they say is the last day to send that out there as well. 1 day shipping would be December 23rd. Obviously Christmas Eve on the 24th as well. So those are the dates you're looking at there. Same day would be December 24th, obviously. Overnight, standard overnight, 23rd would be your date for that as well. So those are your dates. Also for UPS as well. UPS 3 day select, they say December 19th. 2nd day air, they say December 22nd for them as well. So any questions on that, obviously go to the respective shipping sites. But folks, it's December 3rd. Get on the ball if you're shipping stuff out. Those dates seem late to me. To guarantee it'll be there. One freak winter storm and it's going to be late, for instance, ship them as soon as you can, right? But check it out there as well as you going through that side. And we just got done with the Thanksgiving holiday, Christmas holidays coming up as well, right? And everybody feasts around that time frame. Well, this is an interesting story to me that I ran across out there, and that Thanksgiving didn't turn out the way people wanted when they wanted cranberry sauce last week. Let's see what the we don't know what the problem is. They're investigating it, but something to watch here coming up, right? But so basically, Ocean Spray didn't have cranberry sauce in it. They had water in them as well. The company has come under fire, their Ocean Spray has, for allegations that it, you know, sent water to customers during the holiday season. For instance, one video that went out on TikTok on Saturday, it shows a person opening 3 cans of Ocean Spray cranberry sauce, and it showed that they contained water. One of the cans was opened up on camera to show that there's no shenanigans going on at all. That video alone has been viewed by over 10 million times, and there are lots of instances on people on social media tagging Ocean Spray about water being in their jellied cranberry sauce out there. Not only that, customers visited Ocean Spray's website and they've left complaints stating that they'd been and also purchased cans of the sauce only to find out they were filled with water. And for its part, the company said it's reached out to individuals who shared the videos, quote, to learn more and make it right, unquote, from that. Ocean Spray did not offer additional information about the incidents. For instance, are they real? Did they happen? Was there a manufacturing problem? So we don't have those details yet, but what I want to know is, were you one of the people that opened a cranberry sauce and only had water in it? Kind of an interesting thing there. Imagine your disappointment when, forget it, I'm not a cranberry sauce guy, but let's say you need it for a recipe and you're looking forward to grandma's famous whatever. And you can't get cranberry sauce because it's just full of water out there. Interesting thing that happened there on the manufacturing side. We'll see what happens with that. And when we come back here at McCollum on Business, we keep the show rolling here on this Wednesday. Attorney General here in Arizona, Chris Mays, shocker, suing people again. I mean, that is her job. We'll talk about that coming up. A couple local stories. Walmart, big purchase out in the West Valley. We'll talk about that as well. One more look at the Market Watch. Come on back, folks. It's McCollum on Business. And we're back here, McCollum on Business. Appreciate you joining me here on this Wednesday edition. Of course, we'll be here Monday through Friday, unless the markets are closed with holidays, etc. coming up. We'll be here doing this show. It's my passion project show. We're here live around 11 o'clock every day. We go till we run out of important stuff for you out there, usually 30, 45 minutes. Sometimes we hit that hour and 10-minute mark out there. Join us live here, 11 o'clock. Robat TV is where you find our live programming. Of course, on demand afterwards as well at Robat TV or the free YouTube page out there. The YouTube page is for our production company that we do here. That's separate from the Robat TV thing. Check us out there for On Demand. Share us with your friends as well. And then, of course, this show, no podcast for this show, but that's where you can find these shows out there. And then, of course, you got the main event. We wrapped up this morning. We had three-time consecutive, folks. Scottsdale Christian Academy head coach Mike Sheehan joined the program for his final Bird's Eye View weekly show that we had here and talked about the game, etc. It's fantastic conversation in terms of the thoughts of winning the championship, 3 in a row, but also the team, kind of how it went, etc. Riveting conversations. That's up right now at, of course, on demand at Robat TV, the YouTube page as well. And then if you go down to the interview section, if you just want to see that part of it, in the interview side of the, there's an interview category there on the YouTube page. You can find just that as well. But I'd encourage you to check out the whole show. I think it's fun, but I might be a little biased. Me and 17-year NFL veteran Della Ellistre get you caught up on sports out there as well. Live 8 to 10 a.m. here at Robat TV as well. That does have the free podcast system at TME Sports Show for you as well. Just type that in, pops up. Follow us on X and social medias out there at TME Sports Show as well. And see our shenanigans as well as we talk about sports as well, away from the show on the social media pages. Then, of course, you saw it there, Pit Stop. You saw the ad for that on hiatus right now. Follow me there at Talk Racing and the sports world of racing. At the Pit Stop Talk is the social media for that. Right now, the lawsuit of 2311 Front Row Motorsports is going on against NASCAR. Follow me for those updates, etc. Show's on hiatus until the racing season starts again. We might have emergency podcasts here or there as breaking news happens. Stay tuned to the social media for that. And then the Real Matrix, you saw that. Last week took the hiatus off with the holidays. 9 episodes are up right now on demand at Robat TV. On demand, of course, on the same YouTube page there, their production page for TME Sports Show. And then, of course, that has a free podcast as well at The Real Matrix. You search that into your favorite podcast system, and it pops right up for you. Folks, the Angry Patriot is enjoying doing this show, and he's ready to tell you just what's happening out there in the real world and questions. It's not a lecture. He talks to you about it. Just come in with an open mind and see what he has to say. And check that out as well here. Robat TV on demand and, of course, YouTube and the free podcast system as well. New episode today, actually. Today's Wednesday, isn't it? Today at noon. Didn't even think about that. New episode come out. I was thinking it was yesterday, folks. I'm thinking today's Tuesday. Wednesday at noon, new episode coming your way. The Real Matrix here. As soon as we get done here, probably pop right up for you there on Robat TV and the YouTube page, etc. So let's get right back into the Market Watch. Everybody's ignoring the surprise negative number in the private jobs report from ADP. Microsoft's down today. Everybody's kind of ignoring that. Kind of banking on the Fed's meeting next week, although there's some big unknowns if there'll be a monetary cut. The consensus is right now there won't be, but with these numbers today, might change their thought process on that. But the market is all up today, right? Dow Jones is up to 370 points. S&P 500 is up to 22. The Nasdaq's up 53 points right now. The Russell 2K, that small cap index, is up 33 points as well. Bitcoin, well, it's up today, 1,800 points roughly, but more importantly, 93,145 for Bitcoin. So it's gotten out of that 80,000 range it's been trading at lately as well on the cryptocurrency side of things. And stocks we're looking at right now, Pure Storage is the first one that we're going to look at. It's a management storage data firm as well. They deal with the data, folks. Down big today, 26.67%. Right now, they reported their third quarter earnings. Yeah, they reported 58 cents per share. The expectation was 58 cents per share. They reported $964.5 million in revenue. Expectation was $956 million. All of that, they hit their numbers and bettered the revenue side, and investors are not impressed with it at all. They expected bigger numbers from them. 26.67% down despite hitting their numbers there on Pure Storage. Next up, we're going to look at American Eagle Outfitters. Let's check out on the retailers, right? At least This specific retailer here in the holiday season, 15.27% up right now as well. They raised its fourth quarter outlook and reported better than expected earnings in the third quarter. So, better than expected earnings in the third quarter obviously is a good thing. But most importantly, raising your fourth quarter outlook in the holiday season means they're expecting this holiday season to be good for them, which, this is one retailer. Other ones are kind of signaling that as well here in the holiday season. There's something to pay attention to with these companies. And then let's look, like I said, at the RV maker, Thor Industries. RVs are kind of still being purchased. They're planning to be rented a lot. People aren't flying as much. You got the anniversary of America being formed here coming up in July. Yeah, let's see what they're doing. Yeah, down 7.40%. Thor Industries is. Yeah, they also did not impress investors at all. They kept its earnings per share outlook in their range that they announced before. It's $3.75 to $4.25. And they see their revenue between $9 and $9.5 billion. They didn't increase it at all. They just kept it where it was. Investors not happy with that. Thor Industries 7.40% down based off of that news. For an industry, quite frankly, that's expected to have a blip. If that's not already happened, definitely coming here over the next year. So something to pay attention to, that RV industry out there. Now let's get into a couple local stories here as well. As I told you before we went to break, Chris Mays, the Arizona Attorney General, she came out yesterday and did a big press conference, and she announced that Arizona is the latest state to sue that Chinese website Temu and its parent company PDD Holdings as well. What are the allegations? Well, it's the allegations you've heard before about these Chinese websites, right? They say that the allegations are that the Chinese company there is stealing customers' data, is the big one they did. May specifically said in her press conference that the app deceives customers about the quality of its low-cost products and collects what she described as a shocking amount of sensitive data without the consent of users. To the point where they use GPS locations and a list of other apps that are on the user's phones. Kind of the TikTok scenario, folks, right? On why TikTok was supposed to be banned everywhere out there as well. The one thing that gets me about this story is if you're not shocked by that $40 couch isn't the high quality, we can't help you at that point. Or that $5 dress isn't high quality. The quality shouldn't be the shocker. It should be the other stuff out there. Prosecutors here in Arizona are concerned about Temu being subject to laws in China that require Chinese companies to hand over data requested by the Chinese government. And then that means that they code the software and everything, and it's designed to evade security reviews when that software goes out as well. So basically, Arizona's saying it can detect you everywhere you go, doctor's office, shopping, political stuff, friend's house, wherever you go out there, they watch you according to your phone once you have it on your phone as well. So obviously, there's privacy concerns here in America as well. Chris Mays also said that the state wants to protect businesses from being ripped off by the online retailer with their cheaper stuff. And not only that, they steal intellectual property from people, right? She specifically mentioned that Temu has copied the intellectual property of brands like the Arizona Cardinals, Arizona State University, basically printing stuff and not giving the credit and the money to those entities as well. So obviously, Temu, they said they denied the allegations out there in a long statement. But Arizona's the latest one, as I said earlier, right? Attorneys generals in Kentucky, Nebraska, and Arkansas, they filed similar lawsuits, and Arizona's getting on that bandwagon now as well. So if you missed that yesterday, there you go with Temu. And now let's talk about Amazon Web Services out there and Tucson. Let's go down to Tucson. This is all about that Project Blue data center that we talked about for months here at McCollum on Business that eventually fell apart due to some politicians down there kind of voting against it after it became public and everything. This was that 290-acre strip of land down there in Tucson's east side of the land with the river running beside it. Public records originally reported by the Arizona Luminaria. Well, they are the ones that tied Amazon to that Project Blue dating back to at least 2023. This is that project that had all those non disclosure agreements, not just with regular people, but with Pima County. Tucson officials also were told to keep everybody in the dark in this, and that kept Amazon's role hidden. And then the intense scrutiny happened over the summer. The developer there, Beal Infrastructure, announced plans to use the city water to cool down the facility also. And that was the one where it would have taken an ungodly amount, over 50% of city water, to run that facility as well. So that's where the outrage happened by citizens. City leaders then rejected that plan as well. And now the company building this, now plans to use Tucson Electric Power electricity to cool things off instead of the city water as well. But Amazon is pulling out of that site. They haven't announced it, but Amazon said they have no projects in Tucson coming up. They haven't announced they're out, but by not announcing a project, that tells you they're out, right? If you can kind of come to that as well. But why are they pulling out? Well, because the new cooling method using the electricity is no longer compatible with their operations as they go down there. So that project looked like it was dead. Now Amazon's pulling out of that project, and we'll have to keep our eyes down there in Tucson to keep that big monstrosity from happening down there as well. And back up here in Phoenix, hey, here in Metro Phoenix, some people in Scottsdale, Mesa, Chandler areas, it's a limited window, but, well, you can now use DoorDash. You can get it for takeout. We've told you that before and everything. But now you can get your takeout with autonomous grocery delivery officially now as well. This is all thanks to DoorDash and Waymo teaming up. Customers can skip delivery drivers and keep everything touch-free by selecting the standard delivery option. And this is at participating DashMart locations only right now. If you don't know what DashMart is, it's DoorDash's chain of convenience, grocery, and retail stores that they have specifically. This all came from an announcement earlier this week, and DoorDash officials hope to eventually include local businesses into their program besides just their DashMart stuff as well. So if you're interested in this, customers, 315 square mile service area. So parts of Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe, Mesa, and Chandler are in this area as well. You'll have the option to choose autonomous vehicle delivery in the app when you do it if you're interested. Waymo also announced special promotions for DashPass members during its and using its ride sharing service to use this new service out there. This is similar to the announcement with Uber Eats back in April of 2024 and Waymo as well. So Waymo expanding that grocery delivery service. I don't know why I couldn't say that all of a sudden. They're expanding that pretty rapidly right now here in the valley. And speaking of large companies making big improvements here, yeah, it's official. Walmart acquired about 1.28 million square feet of building. Yes, out there in the 303 in that area next to Luke Air Force Base. They bought it over the holiday weekend for $152 million. This is a record-setting deal that closed the day before Thanksgiving out there. It's the second largest industrial building sold in Phoenix on record. We got that data from CoStar Group. Homes.com gave us that information. Walmart will be the first tenant there at that recently completed Luke Field complex out there. That's a whole complex is 140 acres, 2.4 million square feet logistics park out there in the West Valley as well. So Walmart's going to occupy Building C at the project. It's a 3-building complex. It's right there on the other side of Luke Air Force Base. You can't miss it there at Litchfield Road and what is that, Northern? It's not Northern Avenue, right? It's Northern Parkway, I think is what they call that section out there as well. So you can get to the 303, 101 pretty quickly from that area as well out there. So Building C is 1.2 million square feet that Walmart's going to occupy. The other 2 buildings a little bit smaller. One's 695,000, one's 454,000 square feet as well. So this year alone, 2025, Glendale submarket is the number 1 submarket in the entire country for industrial sales volume, according to CoStar. It's the only submarket in the U.S., Glendale is, to see over $1 billion in industrial sales just so far here in 2025. So out there in the West Valley, industrial sales are through the roof. Walmart already has a couple $1 million square foot buildings that they operate out in the West Valley. Now they're adding another one into their level as well for them coming up here. So Walmart making some big investments into the valley here for them. And folks, I appreciate you joining me here on this Wednesday edition of McCollum on Business. Don't forget, The Real Matrix coming up, posting at noon. Robat TV, of course, YouTube, and the podcast systems out there. And folks, we'll be back tomorrow, Thursday's edition here of McCollum on Business. I got to learn my days. I didn't even realize it was Wednesday. I thought it was Tuesday. But I promise you, we'll be back for Thursday's edition coming up as well. The main event tomorrow morning, 8 to 10 live here as well. Come and join us, folks, would you? See you then.